Hello there folks! Today we're taking a look at the game called Order of the Gilded Compass. It's published by Grey Fox Games and the designers are Jeffrey D. Allers and Bernd Eisenstein.
In this game we are treasure hunters and we're gonna try all different kind of methods in order to get as many treasures as possible and earn an invitation to a prestigious society Order of the Gilded Compass.
There's a lot to discover, let me show you. Order of the Gilded Compass is played over the course of several rounds and your main goal is to get the most points, then you will win the game. Now, the main mechanism of the game is to roll the dice and allocate them to various locations, and there are various restrictions on how you can put the dice there, and you will get the different tiles, rewards and such from where you get those points. Also, the setup of the game is variable. Some of the tiles have two sides, so you can use either of the sides. The C tiles, there are two of them, so you can use either side as well, and they have different tokens, tiles, rewards and such, so there are quite a few different modules that you can use in this game. But let's take a look at what we have here right now. So, how the game works. You take your dice at the beginning of the game, to say you're the first player, you roll all the dice. Now, you will allocate some of the dice or all of the dice if you're really lucky to various locations. So, for example, archives needs to have the dice of the same value. And the longer row of the same value you have, the better chance you have to become the first to pick one of these locations or ancient ruin styles. So let's say I can put 3 4s there. Now my turn has ended. Now it's the other player's turn. He will take the dice and roll, his dice right here. So he will allocate some dice somewhere else, or maybe to the same spots. You can never create this exactly same combination, but you can create different ones. For example, in this Treasure Hunter Guild, you have a row of dice, so from 1 to 6, but you can create 2, 3, 4, or maybe just 5, 6. You can even create the row with just one die, but it's highly possible that you will not get the reward then. So for example, here the first place will get to choose from the 3 objective tiles, and the second player will get to choose from the remaining 2 objective tiles. And these are the different endgame scorings that you'll get. For example, you get 1. The gold means points, basically. You get 1 point for, plus 1 point for every lantern hidden temple tile right there. So, but there are different modules and different scorings. So you get per an excavator, you get points per excavator, you get dual map, so that you can fulfill and such. The other cool part of the game is the archives, the reward of the archives. So let's say you could choose the tile, you're gonna choose one of the tiles. Let's say you're gonna choose this one. Now, this tile is Ancient Ruins. It gives you 2 points at the moment, the lower score. It will give you more points, 3 points, if you can put the specialist on this tile. And there are different specialists. Let's say I'm just gonna show you the blue one, but you need to match the colors or symbols, let's say. You can see there is excavator and cartographer by the symbols right here, and they have the points in the top corner. They will not score the points unless you will attach them to the location, and the location will not score points until there is at least one specialist, higher points, at least there's one specialist on this location. I cannot put this one here because the colors do not match, but basically what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get the locations, trying to get the specialists. These 2 modules are always in the game, and there are many people, they're coming always from this pile and locations as well. So you're gonna get them, you're gonna match them, and you're gonna score the points. So also you have these reroll tokens. You can use them to reroll as many dice as you want during your turn. And yeah, basically the turn goes back and forth. I mean, like, let's say you play a 4-player game. Each time when your turn comes up, you roll your remaining dice again and then allocate them further. You can always add the dice to existing rows of dice right here. For example, I can add here and create even a bigger row. That's one of the variants. So in library, for example, you can put any die, or you can put a combination of 1 and 4, or 2 and 3, which is total of 5. Which is really cool here is that let's say the next turn, let's say another player will put a 2 here, then he will bump my dice from here. Also, if the third player will come here and put a 1, then the dice should go from the lowest to the highest value. It will bump the dice even further, and at some point they can be bumped into the library. The library doesn't give you anything else except the reroll tokens, and if in rare case you cannot put dice anywhere on the board, you can put it onto library and get the reroll tokens at the end of the round. And also, I'm just gonna briefly show you the hidden temple. The hidden temple also has these colors and has the different, we'll see if I have the map here. Sorry, compass and dagger. As you can see, these also match the same colors that people have and locations. So if you will also manage to give the tool to the digger and put him on a location, he will score extra points, double points here and such. So it's just all about matching colors and getting sets of different things. And yeah, as I told you, you can create whatever game you want, roll the dice, allocate them in a row, combinations, different combinations, simple dice or the same value dice, and enjoy the game. That's how the game works. The artwork of this game is, in my opinion, the matter of taste. I do really like the tiles, how they look, but the people and some other tiles, smaller tiles, objectives and whatever they are okay. Nothing really particular, but yeah. The component quality is okay here, in my opinion. I think the linen finish on these can wear off quite easily.
I think you need to play a lot in order for it to wear off.
But
like,
sometimes you get the components and you see if the quality is really good or if it's okay. No,
it's fine quality. It's okay.
The other thing this game needs component-wise is the insert. It's really good insert. It had the insert inside, custom insert, plastic insert, but it wasn't functional at all.
Yes.
It had many holes, but basically there was no real deal how to put the components inside. So
yeah, so it was like everything was just around the box. But what I really like about the game, and I have to mention because I know it's important for many, is that turns are quick. Even if you have to roll your dice every single time before your turn, you still usually know what you want to do or what you need. So whenever you roll dice, you kind of already know.
Yeah.
And there is one more thing that really needs to be mentioned. It's amount of modules is a lot. You have a lot of tiles and they're double-sided and different sides have different modules, which I really like because then it's like a lot of mix and match. First, you have different modules, different options to play with 2 players. You have already different for 3, different for 4. And if you start mix and matching to find the ones that you really like, you already played a lot of games. So it adds a lot of replay value as well.
It's not like as different as for different amount of players as you mentioned. It's a little bit different there in the rulebook.
Yeah.
But I mean, and there's not that many tiles that, as Alina wanted it to sound. There aren't so many, but there is quite a lot of that and variation.
They're different enough, so they have quite different amount of dice you have to put there, or different logic.
Some of them they have the same logic, have the same combination of dice you have to put, but they work differently. That's cool. Yeah, and regarding the modules as well, some of them have, or say some of them have better value, or say that some of them are more interesting, in my opinion, than the others. Like at some point, of course, you can customize the game as you want, but there are some tiles, there are some sides of the tiles that are more interesting, in my opinion, and less random as well. I'm gonna talk about the random factor there.
That is fine. That is fine because really you can mix and match here.
Yeah, which creates the replay value of it as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. The other thing I want to mention is that there is a neutral player variant. If you play with 2 or 3 players, you either play with less locations, which is whatever, or you play with the neutral player, sorta. You get the extra dice and then you distribute those dice as well somewhere in a location. Basically, They are for no one. This is sort of like a imaginary player, yeah.
Dummy player.
But it doesn't feel like a separate neutral player. I mean, it doesn't feel like some extra work you need to do in order to manage the game, in order to play the game, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
Usually when I read the variants of 2 players where there is a dummy player, it sounds so I have to manage this dummy player as well, and he has certain rules and such, so it's so boring. I don't want to do that. I would rather play with more players.
So we usually hate those dummy players, and we usually skip those variants, but obviously we had to try here, and for once we noticed that it was actually working well, because it's not like you have some rules how do you move the dice on the board, but you actually assign and you create this dummy player out of like different players. So I have part of this dummy player, Ilya has another part, like which all together we both like influence what's going on, which was really cool.
I recommend to play this variant if you play with less than 4 players.
At least definitely try, because for once dummy player was done right.
Yeah, and more locations is always more fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's one more thing in the university which I really liked, is like the bumping, is that you can assign dice, but you can't be certain that you're gonna get them because it's so easy to move around, which was just added that little spice there, which I really liked.
Yeah, and the other thing that we talked about when we discussed this game is that at some point not everyone will get, if you play with more players, not everyone will get all the tiles or all the places that she can do. So the dice that are on locations but will not work eventually go to the library, well, you will get the reroll tokens.
Yeah, at least something.
Yeah, and if you put a lot of dice and they are for nothing, at least you get some reroll tokens, and then you can mitigate your luck during next turns there. So that I really like. So, and let's talk about the random factor, the luck factor. Of course, it's a dice game. There's a lot of rolling, there's a lot of random with the dice. But as I told you already, there are some modules that are more random, where you basically randomly pull out a tile or something like that, an objective tile or a magical item, or whatever they are, the artifacts, and then you will see what you get. And at some point they feel a little bit too random. And some people can get really lucky in the game and get many points. Some people can get much less lucky and get just a few points. It's not a bad thing. Why I wanted to mention this is that some people don't like it. And if you feel like you don't like this kind of an extra, like if you're fine with dice randomness, okay. But if you're not fine with constantly drawing bad things because of the bad luck, then this game is not really for you.
Once again, it's not really like that. It's not like you constantly draw, but yes, obviously.
Some modules are like that.
This is life. Like, obviously, there is some random, and especially if it's a dice game, yes, there is more random in some rather than some Euro game. But come on, it's part of the game. It's part of the dice.
But what I talk about is that the other amount of randomness, the other layer of randomness there. So, yeah.
This game can be played from 2 to 5, was it, or 2 to 4?
2 to 5.
2 to 5, okay.
Should be.
We haven't played 5, we have played 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. 5 is really hard to get.
And there really is, once again, all those modules, right? But I think I like the 4 players the most. But there is like an interesting thing that what many can like, and what I actually like with 2 players, is that if you play with 2, you get everything more. So you get more of those combinations which like match. But when you play more players, then you get less of items, less of tokens, and less of stuff, let's say, that matches at the end. So you might be struggling with some tiles that won't score at all, which is less likely in 2-player games. Okay.
But yeah, so what do you mean, I think, is that for some players, if we play with 2 players, the thing we do eventually, the ends we get to feels more complete than with more players, where you have so many holes in your sort of a engine or whatever you do with set collection thing there. Yeah, so that's the difference for me between the players. And I do like this kind of struggling and trying to get the set collection done instead of just getting what you want. So with 2 players, there's so much more freedom to get whatever you want. So if one player will go to this location, I'll go to another location. At some point, Alina will have to go to the university, and then she will go to university. I don't care. I'll go to locations then. So, and there wasn't much of that struggling and fighting for the locations and for the tiles. And with more players, I really like that. At some point, you will just not get something that you really want if you will not go all in with all your dice, maybe on some kind of location. So I liked it with more players. I think the more players, the better the game.
I did like 4 players more as well, but just tiny little bit more. I really like it with 2 as well. So I've heard that 4 players is like better, the more players better, and people don't really like 2 players, but I actually did like it a lot. So for me, it's not a big difference. I think it works well with all player counts, just someone's better, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Overall, I do like this game. Usually when I think about dice placement games, I'm not really into them. Most of them are just roll dice and draw some things, and whatever you get, that's what you get. So here, this is a similar thing, but something, maybe those amount of modules, maybe that sort of mitigation and bumping each other out, or like fighting with each other, I mean, peacefully fighting with each other in this game, maybe this is something that draws me into this game. And I do like this game. It's not the best game of all time there, but it's certainly a really good dice rolling, dice placement game out there. And I would definitely recommend it.
I agree. I'm more into these kind of games. I'm more into dice placement games. But I really do appreciate all those like different modules and all different things you have to do with dice.
Yeah.
In dice placement games, you usually have rather similar things, right? Get more pips on the dice, or more values, or more of the dice. So here's really different, which I really like. So there's really has those details, and all those modules. Mixing, matching gives me like an impression that I've played the game a lot, but I still didn't get it all. So it has more of the discovery, like more of the game inside, which was really cool.
It's a part of satisfaction about the game, yeah.
Definitely. So it is a cool game. It's a really good dice placement game. I agree.
So let's measure our rating with the dice.
Some dice.
Yes, let's go to the dice ratings. I give this game 7 dice out of 10.
And I give this game 7 dice as well.